Tonight on CTV News, the Council's position is clear. A partial sale of our assets is on the cards, but what does it mean for ratepayers? The biggest bus changes hits Canterbury, and we go driving in New Zealand's top car.
Broadcasting across Canterbury, from the CTV studio, this is First at 5.
Good evening, great to have your company tonight. The Christchurch City Council hit us with a whammy last Friday when it announced its budget shortfall of $900 million was in fact $1.2 billion. And selling assets to pay for the rebuild is of course on the table, with the airport, Orion and a third of the Littleton port likely to be sold off. Now, Councillor Jamie Goff joins me later on the program, but first up, what is the Council's official position? Emma Cropper has the story.
A much bigger debt than first thought. The Christchurch City Council's now looking at ways to plug a $1.2 billion funding shortfall, and asset sales are on the table.
And so what we are seeking to do is to release $550 million from Christchurch City Holdings Limited and council-owned trading organisations.
Potentially up for sale is 34% of Littleton Port, 9% of Christchurch Airport and 14.3% of Orion.
This is not about asset sales, it's about how do we free up the capital that we need to actually get our city back on its feet. That, to me, is the conversation that we need to have.
That conversation involving Cantabrians, with public consultation beginning in March.
We are going to be very open, very accountable, very transparent.
The council also agreed to set up a development authority to speed up the rebuild and attract private funding for major projects. It will act as a one-stop shop for investors and developers, linking them with potential projects and assisting them through the consenting process. Emma Cropper, CTV News.
And as I said earlier, Councillor Jamie Goff will join me after the break to discuss the Council's financial position. We move on now, and changes to Christchurch's bus network took effect today, meaning people won't be waiting for long for rides, but actual bus stops will be few and far between.
Rushing to the bus as major changes to the network catches passengers by surprise.
I just caught a wrong bus. The driver told me he came to the exchange and he was like, oh no, I don't.
I'm really confused. I have to follow the yellow line and I can't even find the yellow line, so I don't know what they mean with that.
I'm a little annoyed that they didn't put something on the website that could tell people what lines to catch instead of the ones they used to. That would have helped out a lot much.
These out-of-order signs posted on bus stops, part of the biggest shake-up of the city's bus network. From today, Environment Canterbury has overhauled 3/4 of its network. There's less buses on the roads, but more frequent buses on 5 key routes.
Ultimately, what we want to do is increase patronage, and this will do it. It makes a more understandable network.
Key bus lines now colour-coded by these bright colours, including purple, yellow, green, blue and orange. Today's changes are 3 years in the making, and ECAN's David Stenthouse spent the day on the bus system, checking it was a smooth transition. He says by midday, the call centre had received more than 400 calls.
Most of them actually people who wanted to just try and plan their best journeys, so they're just wanting to optimise their journeys, which is great. And at the interchange, I've hung out there for a fair while this morning, and it's pretty smooth all around there.
And word at the bus stop, these changes aren't bothering commuters.
It shouldn't affect it, no. If anything, it's great.
We do know there were some changes, but they don't affect us really.
Did you know about the new changes that started today?
Yes.
Yeah, did it affect your commute?
No.
Some people are a bit confused by it, but for me, it's not confusion, it's just kind of the norm.
They're even encouraging some passengers to use the system.
Probably will use it more in the future.
Emma Cropper, CTV News.
The New Zealand Car of the Year has been announced, but how suitable is the Mazda 3 to Canterbury's roads? Reporter Marcus Gibbs took the latest model for a test drive to find out.
It's full speed ahead for the Mazda 3. It's been named the New Zealand Car of the Year by the Automobile Association.
Certainly amazing for Mazda, and look, I guess for the competition the product was up against, really pleased.
The compact car beat 9 other finalists to take the ultimate award, which included a pack of 6 SUVs, a small and large car, and a performance car. The Mazda 3 was up against high performers like the popular Honda Jazz and Toyota Highland, as well as luxury vehicles such as the Mercedes-Benz C-Class and 2 BMWs, each of them vying for the title of Best Car.
The judges probably had their work cut out for a lot of different makes and models on the market out there, but I guess the Mazda product has ticked a lot of boxes.
It's already one of New Zealand's hottest selling cars, but with its new title in tow, Rangiora Mazda expects the car will fly off the lot.
Certainly really expect them to increase. The previous model Mazda 3 product has been a really good seller for Mazda, and I guess with the features and technology this new product has, it can only carry on that way.
To make their decision, the judges considered styling, performance, handling, economy, comfort, as well as the interior design, build quality and finish. Practicality and value for money was taken into consideration, as well as the all-important X factor, and this car has it in spades.
As well as the design and technology that's gone into the vehicle, there's also a fair amount around the fuel economy side of things.
The judges believe the Mazda 3 has become a Kiwi favourite, with a wide range of models to suit a broad range of motorists. They're calling it a mainstream car that has features that would normally command a premium price tag. However, these cars will roll off the lot, starting from $32,000. That's nearly $40,000 less than the Mercedes-Benz C-Class, which has been named the safest car of the year.
It's a very well-deserved award.
That price will get you a range of additional features and a car that screams premium. The judges believe that this model represents the best driver and passenger protection available from a new car, along with good pedestrian safety. So what makes this car so safe?
Finally, everything that Mercedes have been working on for years and years and years sort of have come together in the new C-Class.
The C-Class Mercedes is Armstrong Motors' bestseller. Mercedes has loaded the latest model with features to help keep the driver and passengers safe.
You have things like brake assist, you've got the innovation of collision prevention assist, where the car will detect an obstacle in front of you and will virtually come to a stop by itself. There are extra things like blind spot assist, lane keeping assist, where literally the car will pull you away from danger when you depart from the lane.
Both Mercedes and Mazda can expect high sales over the next few months. Now they have such sought-after titles attached to their cars. Marcus Gibbs, CTV News.
I think Marcus was after a free car. Well, people around New Zealand literally put their heads in the sand yesterday to raise attention to climate change. Marcus Gibbs explains.
200 people all doing their bit to get your attention by sticking their head in the sand. This demonstration, a way to highlight what these people are calling a lack of governmental action on climate change. The groups taking part included 350.org, Oil Free Ototahi and the Coal Action Network. Labour and Green MPs Gareth Hughes, Stephen Browning, Mojo Mathers, Ruth Dyson, Porter Williams and Megan Woods were amongst Sunday's crowd. This group says the government have their heads in the sand when it comes to climate change. The group believes that the government are instead justifying New Zealand's rising emissions and increasing extraction of fossil fuels. Hundreds of like-minded people buried their heads in the sand at 10 other New Zealand beaches. This event is based on similar events in Australia. The group's spokeswoman says many people in the Pacific Islands stand to lose their homes and culture to rising sea levels. The event coincided with the United Nations Climate Change Conference in Lima, where climate change ministers Tim Grosser and Simon Bridges are representing New Zealand. Minister Grosser says New Zealand is on target to cut emissions by 5% by 2020. However, some activists would rather see emissions slashed by 90%.
Well, it is the season for the Santa parades, and this weekend was Christchurch's turn, and once again the main attraction was the big jolly man.
In case anyone hasn't realised, the Christmas season has begun, with Santa parades marching through Canterbury's centres over the weekend. On Friday night, the Santa Christmas parade went through Geraldine. The following morning, he took his Christmas Express to Timaru. Thousands turned out to Riccarton Road for the annual Christchurch Santa Parade on Sunday. And in the final couple of weeks leading up to Christmas, the Santa Parades continue to be an enduring community legacy for families and people of all ages, despite the weather and old school floats.
And still to come here on CTV News, Christchurch City Councillor Jamie Goff is here to discuss the council's $1.2 billion deficit.
Kids television is right here on CTV. With an exciting range of kids programming, join in on all the fun, Saturday 7am to 8:30am, right here on CTV. Best friend on holiday to snuggle in boarding Canterbury. We pride ourselves on having a safe, clean and fun environment for your feline companion. With luxury heated rooms, private courtyard, comprehensive menu and room service provided by trained staff and vet nurses, Snuggle In is simply the best for your pet.
My son's helped me greatly with my independence now that I've got more mobility.
Mum, I've been looking into stand assist chairs from More Mobility. They recline back with a footrest, then when you want to get out of them they stand you up. You can even sleep on them. More Mobility can bring one out for a free trial. There's even electric beds too. What do you think? For more range and more expert advice, see More Mobility, corner Clarence and Princess Streets off Blenheim Road.
What a difference more mobility makes.
Hi, I'm Mark and welcome to Staywell Pharmacy.
At Staywell Pharmacy, we do more than just dispense prescriptions. As Canterbury's most experienced supplier of compression hosiery and travel socks, our friendly staff can assist you with all your needs when it comes to looking after your health. Whether you're recovering from surgery, taking that overseas trip, or wanting to stop those tired, aching legs, Staywell Pharmacy has you covered. Bookings are essential. For a new direction in your future health, call us today. Staywell Pharmacy. Live well, stay well.
Hi, I'm Jude Kirk. Join me weekdays for Let's Go Shopping.
And welcome back to CTV News. My guest in the studio now is Councillor Jamie Goff, and good evening to you.
Hi, Chris.
Thanks for joining us. First of all, the shortfall was a lot bigger than expected. Now at what? How much? $1.2
We're
billion?
potentially $1.2 billion.
Why is that?
Well, we originally had the numbers that we were working with of $700 million with the Cameron report, but I guess it's just cost escalation. More information has come to hand for the last couple of weeks. We've learned that horizontal infrastructure is going to cost more. So wish that weren't the case, but it is, so we've been quite open with that.
Which is a good thing. Did councillors behind those closed doors discuss the possibility of rate increases? And I would guess you probably did, but at the end of the day, that was never going to sit well with any of us, was it?
Correct to both of them. We absolutely thrashed that out. I think you need to consider every single option or lever that you have at your disposal. Not doing so just means that you're going to limit the quality of the outcome. So it was discussed, but from my point of view and from the majority of councils, it's quite unpalatable. You just can't go on with having, you know, a 20 or 30% rates increase. Just is not an option.
There may have been some surprise at 34% of the Littleton Port Company. How did you come to that decision? That seems quite a lot, but some would say probably not enough.
Well, it means retaining 66% ownership, so hopefully it's enough of the pie to entice a strategic partner, but then it's hopefully enough to satisfy those people that don't necessarily want to let go of an asset like that, so we still very much have control.
Ironically, Littleton Port is a great performer, isn't it? It earns a lot of money, doesn't it?
Well, it depends.
Well, you think so with Peter Davies and bonus, doesn't it? Doesn't earn much money. It does.
Well, they paid $2 a share last year, so I think that there's scope for improvement.
True. 9% of shares in Christchurch International Airport. Again, some would suggest that seems pretty safe. I know that Jerry Brownlee on RNZ last week alluded to the fact that it was a good step, but perhaps the council was a bit timid. What do you see in that?
Well, it's actually, in all reality, the same quantum as LPC, because we would look to hold hands with the Crown. They own 25%, and to bring it to 66, that would mean that our sale is 9%.
Public feedback, I know it's early days, but what's the feedback been like so far?
Look, there's views across the spectrum, just as we had robust debate in the council chamber with some people's ideological views. No different in the community. So there have been some pretty forceful emails about don't even go there, and other ones that are saying we understand the situation. This isn't a political or an ideological decision. It's a commercial one. So
I don't
make
think it is.
a
I
commercial
think
one.
if you start to make it political, you lose sight of the fact of what is the issue, and the issue is, of course, how we're going to pay for the rebuild of the city. But interestingly, though, I know councillors voted unanimously to have a look at the cost-sharing agreement between the council and the government. But I thought at this point in the piece it was pretty much a done deal. I know that the stadium's now being put off, but what is open to interpretation? What is open to flexibility, if you like?
Always negotiating, because the one thing that really suits us is, let's not forget that success for Christchurch is what the council wants, and success for Christchurch is what the Crown wants. So us failing is not an option. You can change any part of the cost share arrangement with mutual consensus. So I think we'd be silly not to if some aspects aren't working.
So where to from here then in terms of that flexibility? What are you seeing from the council? What are councillors hearing, from the government's perspective?
Well, horizontal infrastructure with the inflation of price there is going to be a hot topic. You've obviously seen it's been quite well publicised, the council's desire to push out the stadium. I think Sarah would be quite amicable to that, but we're going to have a wider conversation. So it's very much early days there, but everything's on the table. What
is the deal now with Sarah? I mean, they won't choose a developer for the green frame until next year. That was supposed to be sorted out this year. There's some criticism that Sarah was supposed to be the speed up process poster child. It's been anything but that. Is that fair criticism or slightly unfounded, do you think?
Well, I don't know that.
Because I can't decide.
I can't decide either, because the fact that it seems like it's going to be taking longer for getting residents in the CBD, let's face it, we didn't have enough people living centrally pre-earthquake. It's something that was broken before the earthquake. Now's the opportunity to fix that. So, I would agree with you, but I don't know the details of that, so perhaps they have more information than us.
I mean, you've obviously got a lot of business interest within the CBD. You want to see the CBD come alive, and progress is a wonderful thing. I would have thought Sarah and the CCDU was going to be the agencies responsible for development, for enticing the private investment coming through. You've got Raf Manji saying that we need to create a separate entity, and of course councillors voted for this, a new authority as a one-stop shop, if you like, for investment. Whatever happened to the CCDU? Because they've got two blimmin' business units within that organisation, as I'm sure you're aware, whose primary function was to entice investment. So is there duplication here, do you think?
I think that ultimately I can't answer questions for Sarah. So from a council perspective, if things aren't going how you want it to do, you can bicker and moan about it, or you can actually just get on with it and do what needs to be done.
So in terms of investment into the city, do you think we'll get there? Are we going to get any investment into the city? What are you seeing in that?
Look, I certainly hope so. But what we have seen is the floodgates haven't necessarily been opened with masses of international infrastructure of all these Chinese hotels and American and English and wherever else. The international investment hasn't come through, and actually the sad fact is we've seen local investment also pack up and go offshore with their insurance proceeds. So something needs to be done differently, and I think the other aspect to this is that the Sarah powers are expiring in 2016, so having a vehicle where we can transition that change to more local democracy and local input, so you can have that city for Christchurch by Christchurch, I think that's critical, and this I see it as a perfect vehicle to do that.
All right, Councillor Jamie Goff, appreciate your time tonight. Well, up next, Gordon's just around the corner with your weekend sports review. Stay with us.
敬请收看 CTV Freeview 40频道首档华语原创系列电视节目 Chinese in Canterbury. Join us in watching Chinese in Canterbury on CTV.
Looking for that perfect gift for a loved one? Wanting to add some vibrance to your home, or just looking to brighten up your workplace? No matter the occasion, the Hitching Post has something for everyone. Lose yourself in their extensive range of homeware, art, glass and plasma cut metalwork. The Hitching Post is your one-stop shop for great style and quality. So come on down to the Hitching Post, 722 Marshland Road.
Blackwell's has a proud history presenting leading vehicle brands, extensive backup and service for a total one-stop driving experience. Holden, Mazda and HSV new and used vehicle sales, servicing, parts, paint and panel, Isuzu truck sales and service, all together in one convenient location. More selection, more value, more quality and more reasons to make Blackwell's your #1 choice. Visit Blackwell's today, corner Waterloo Racecourse Road, Sockburn, or online at blackwells.co.nz.
Avoid the monkeys when it comes to relocating. Trust A1 Movers, a family business since 1993 that guarantees a professional job every time. We carefully handle and wrap your valued items, ensuring they have a safe journey. Secure storage and insurance options are also available.
A1 Movers, the careful, caring moving company. Oi!
If you're looking for a real estate agent that is willing to go the extra mile to give you complete peace of mind, then look no further. Karen and Barry Ellis from Harcourt's Twist Care Realty are here to work for you. They believe in their brand and actively work to get you the best possible result. From start to finish, Karen and Barry Ellis will take the stress and hassle out of buying or selling. Karen and Barry Ellis, licensed agent REAA 2008.
Make a date every Thursday night. The Owl and the Pussycats have returned. I'm the Owl and the women will be the panel. Make sure you get your letters and correspondence in and we'll answer your queries every Thursday, 8:30 here on CTV.
And welcome back to CTV News. Gordello is here now with the weekend sports review.
The Mainland Pride made it back-to-back National Women's League football titles on Sunday, capping off another stellar season for the team. The 3-1 win against the New Zealand development side at English Park was set on its way early with first-half goals to Lauren Dabner and Monique Barker. The second half of the match offered more resistance from the opposition, with Daisy cleverly grabbing a goal on the hour mark. The New Zealand development side celebrations were kept short though, with Monique Barker grabbing her second of the game minutes later, wrapping up the match and another title for the impressive Pride. The Canterbury and Crusaders Rugby Awards were held on Saturday night, with Matt Todd leaving as the star of the event, nabbing both the Canterbury Provincial and Crusaders Player of the Year awards. Other award winners of note were Scott Barrett, who took out the Academy Player of the Year award and the ITM Cup First Year Player award. Crusaders giant Fijian winger Nemani Nadolo was awarded the Rookie of the Year, while Jordan Tafua was the Crusaders' Most Improved Player. Canterbury women's team member Stephanie To'ohairi Fox was named the Women's Player of the Year. Well, the finalists for this weekend's inter-club tennis finals have been found, with both Waimari's men's and women's sides qualifying for Saturday's finals. The women's inter-club final will see Waimari host Hagley Park after semi-final wins on Saturday. Meanwhile, the weekend's men's final will see Waimari head to defending champs Kashmir to take on the Meredith and McHarg brothers. After not intending on defending his national title next year, Ashburton's Hayden Ralston may attempt to go out with a bang when Christchurch hosts the National Road Cycling Championships for the final time next year. Bike NZ announced last week that Christchurch, which has hosted the event since 2010, will play host for the last time in 2015, with a new host taking over from 2016. Ralston, who has won the title 3 times in the last 5 years, has acknowledged his interest in making a return for the Christchurch course's swan song and believes the atmosphere the locals have created over the last 5 years will be sorely missed. And finally tonight, Canterbury celebrated their 20th successive title at the South Island Softball Championships over the weekend. The Red Sox cemented their dominance of the event yesterday with an 8-0 demolition of Southland in the Jefferies Cup final at Cuthbert's Green. Canterbury went unbeaten over the whole weekend, hitting 60 runs in total while maintaining a perfect defensive record, not conceding a single run. You're up to date with the latest in local sport. I'm Gordon Finlater for CTV Sport.
Thanks, Gordon. Now time for the region's weather.
Good evening. First in Timaru, 14. Temuka and Geraldine, a high of 15 degrees. Methven and Ashburton hit a high of 14. Rakaia, 14 degrees. Darfield, Leeston and Rolleston, a mild summer day for you with 14. Lincoln and Christchurch, a high of 14 degrees. Over in Akaroa, a mild 14 degrees. Rangiora, Kaipoi and Amberley, a cool start to the week reaching just 14. Culverden, Hanna Springs and Cheviot, with the region's high they hit 15. At the top in Kaikoura they reached 14 degrees. But what about tomorrow in Timaru? A warm Tuesday ahead with thick high cloud and moderate to fresh northwesterly winds. 11 degrees overnight with a high of 27. In Ashburton, a typically northwesterly day with high cloud and warm temperatures for mid-Canterbury. 11 degrees overnight, reaching a nice high of 27 throughout your day. In Christchurch, fine and warm for your Tuesday, with lots of high cloud and a gentle northerly breeze. 11 degrees overnight, 25 throughout your day. High cloud and a warm northerly sort of day in store for Kaikoura. Tonight's low 11, tomorrow's high 25 degrees. In other areas around the region, Temuka and Geraldine, cloudy for most parts of the day with a high of 27. Methven and Rakaia expect cloud with a high of 26. Darfield, Leeston and Rolleston should reach a high of 26 throughout your day and a low of 11 overnight. Lincoln expect a high of 16 degrees. Over in Akaroa, they should have the region's high coming their way with 28. Rangiora, Kaipoi and Amberley, cloudy for most parts of the day with a high of 27. Culverden, Hanna Springs and Cheviot reaching a low of 11 and a high of 24. And looking ahead for Canterbury, cloudy on Wednesday with periods of rain, along with moderate to fresh cold southwesterly winds. Cloudy and cold on Thursday, but mostly dry, with a few drizzle patches possible morning and night. However, do expect some moderate easterly winds. Cloudy on Friday and at first on Saturday, with some scattered light showers and moderate cold southerly winds. Those showers then clearing and sunny periods increasing on Saturday afternoon. Fine and sunny on Sunday with moderate northeasterlies. And that's your region's weather this evening.
And that's CTV News for this Monday. Have a great night.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.